Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to go there. We're going to talk about the Snape casting controversy. And we're going to talk about how a lot of people on social media would rather have Adam Driver as Snape than the guy they cast. I think it's Paapa Essiedu, I think is how you pronounce it. Black guy.
The Snape controversy. A Snape foo, if you will.
A Snape foo? Yeah, we're going to talk about
that. Sounded funnier in my head. I'm so sorry.
God, we're going to talk about it because there has been significant backlash over the casting choice of Snape being a black dude that really doesn't look, nothing like the description of Snape beyond skin color, even like the way that he was described in the book. Mm-hmm. But to be fair, technically Alan Rickman didn't really fit either. There were some things that were off from Alan.
I know, but
Rickman.
He's pretty close.
Yeah, he's also older than Snape too.
That's true. He was a lot older.
So we'll talk about this. A lot of people pushing for Adam Driver, which I think would have been an amazing choice, but then there was controversy over them casting John Lithgow as Dumbledore because he was an American actor, and it doesn't matter. Harry Potter is a huge franchise. Anything you do rebooting this thing, there's going to be some controversy. Just making it is controversial because people don't like J.K. Rowling now.
Well, just race swapping the character in general is going to be a problem because at one point in time, Harry's father, people were pointing out, hung Snape from a tree. Remember, it was like his underwear was showing and stuff?
Yeah, that is going to play out significantly different with a black dude.
But we're going to keep it like one for one with the book.
Right. So we'll talk about that because I'm coming at this and I'm not going to make anybody happy in this video. I'm going to tell you right up front. I'm coming at this from a different place because the people that are working on the Harry Potter series for HBO are the same people who did His Dark Materials. I'll talk about that. I've talked about this before, but I was a huge fan of the books and I like the adaptation. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to clownfishtv.substack.com. Make sure you sign up for notifications if you're not getting notified here on YouTube. YouTube is really weird. Last year or two, YouTube has definitely had some changes, and it seems like they just kind of show you what they want to show you. Not necessarily what you're looking for. Maybe you're not looking for us. It could be as simple as that.
That could be too. But now I'm going to take a little bit different stance on this than you because I like the books. And I was initially excited about the fact they might reboot it as, being closer to the books. That being said, though, I don't think it needs it. I don't think we need the Harry Potter thing done all over again. I think it's just a cash grab.
Well, I was going to say, Warner Brothers needs it because they're bleeding out money. They need, Harry Potter is money in the cash
grab. And that's kind of where I am. I really kind of would like to have seen the books better portrayed on screen, but I don't want to sit through it all over again. It's a lot of content. And they're talking about doing everything. It's going to be years till they get it all done. And I just really don't want to invest all that time all over again. I already invested it reading the books. I already invested it watching the movies. I don't want to reinvest again.
They might, they might have to pad it out a little bit. Okay, well, here's 8 minutes of Harry Potter taking a big steaming shit.
That's the show. That's the way it's going.
Right. And that was the thing. So this is where I can see both sides of it here, right? Because fans were promised. Because, with the movies, they cut a lot out. Not so much with the first two because the books were shorter, but as the books got longer, they cut more and more from the movies.
Right.
And fans were promised basically a one-to-one adaptation with the books. And they assumed the one-to-one adaptation was going to include the casting choices that were going to make the characters look more like themselves in how they were described in the book from the book description. Right. And that is, right out of the gate. One of the first casting choices was this guy as Snape, and people were like, wait a minute.
But people kept saying it was going to happen. There was rumors for a while to what was announced officially that was what they were going to do. And they had plenty of time to course correct. People kept saying bad idea, bad idea, bad idea. And because Snape was the one, it's like Snow White. When you have one character is described as being very pale sallow skin, very pale.
Yeah.
You don't make them a black person. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. And again, it does add, when you get into the tragic backstory of Severus Snape, it does add a whole nother layer to it. It's like, oh my God, Harry's dad was a freaking racist.
Yeah, Snape was a victim of hate crimes that weren't, just because they didn't like him.
Yeah, so this comes from the Standard. We'll read a little bit here, and here's some of the reactions, and we'll talk about Adam Driver. Everybody wants Adam Driver because he looks
like the character.
Well, he was the odds-on favorite because they're like, yeah, he literally looks. He's even got the goatee and everything. Like
maybe he said no. We don't know that.
They couldn't afford him.
I think it's more like that. Now, I did see that Star Wars girl had said, and I don't think she's wrong. She had said if they were smart and they wanted an audience, if they had put Adam Driver in as Snape and then put Daisy Ridley in as Lillian Potter, it was named Lillian, Harry's mother.
Yeah.
People, they would have got the Raylos. And she's not wrong, but they probably couldn't afford either one of them because they're like film stars.
Well, that's it. Once you make the transition to movies. Of course, he's some of his movies he's done lately. But yeah, once you make that leap, it's kind of hard to go do TV again. Plus, you're talking, it's a 10-year commitment. I mean, it's going to take him like 10 years to get this series done. We don't even know who the kids are or any of that. But yeah, people not real happy about it. This come from, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it. And I'm going to give my thoughts on it from a different angle because I think of all the YouTuber commentators that I'm aware of. I don't think they've seen his Dark Materials, and I don't know if they've read the books, but I can give my opinion on that as someone who did read all 3 books and watched the HBO adaptation start to finish and effing loved it. By the way, I did. I thought it was really well done. But there were race swaps in it.
And that's the same person doing these.
Yeah, same showrunner, I believe. Same people behind it. So I'm gonna be honest. I expected it. It wasn't just like DEI. I'm like, oh no, I know who the showrunner is. So yeah, they're gonna, because they did it with his Dark Materials.
I mean, Hermione, at least we knew they were gonna probably, because they were
absolutely
for the stage show, so they were gonna.
Right. So yeah, it's come from the Standard. They said the new television series promises to explore the Harry Potter universe as never before. No, it's in greater depth with an entirely new cast. Could run for 10 years. I hope John Lithgow makes it to the end.
I always liked exploration with depth.
British
I
actor.
hope they make it to the end too. Anyway,
Paapa Essiedu. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I've heard people pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry if it's wrong.
He's reportedly tipped to play Severus Snape, the role famously portrayed by Alan Rickman, which was a legendary performance. The magazine says Essiedu has already been approached, although it is not clear if negotiations have begun in earnest. Fans took to social media. They took to X to share their thoughts. They said the casting of Paapa Essiedu as Severus Snape is blatant DEI nonsense, and America is beyond over it. Every single Harry Potter fan wanted Adam Driver. He was definitely.
We don't know if he was interested.
He might not have been an option, right? And another fan wrote, Paapa Essiedu is a good actor. I like him in The Outrun, but WTF is this? There's not a single thing about him that screams Snape. Yeah, he's not even like this guy's kind of buff, right? Like Snape was skinny, pasty, wiry, nerdy.
He's the right age range, but that's about it.
Trent Reznor, right? You get Trent Reznor to play Snape. He's probably too old. It's not even so weird. It's interesting. It's just horrible casting. He's innocent though. Yeah, don't hate on him. That's true.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
Third said, this is dumb. I like him, but he's not suitable for Snape. Just makes me sad and angry. Alan managed to portray Severus in a way that really brought the character to life. John Lithgow confirmed he'd been cast, and people were pissed off about that. Mm-hmm. But he's 79. So,
yeah, but it takes 10 years,
He's 79. We're talking, he's going to be 90 years old by the time they're done with Potter. Now, to be fair, Dumbledore was what, like 150 or something?
Dumbledore doesn't make it the whole way through all the books, spoiler.
But, what? Oh my God. Oh my God. Next thing you know, you're going to be telling me that Sirius Black doesn't either. Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Near to Snape.
So yeah, a lot of people were pushing for Driver, and I think he would be amazing, but he might not have been an option. I don't know. So this could be more Raylos just, getting really pissed off too. But this is what he looked like in the books.
Yeah. I said that. I saw Anna talking about it, and I was like, I have to agree.
Oh yeah.
Next post down is one about Daisy Ridley. Or no, not that it was, but it's one of her posts about Daisy Ridley, and I was like, no, that's a good point. That's an excellent point. That would have brought the Raylos in. That's smart.
But then the problem is once you bring the Raylos in, you can't get rid of them. Right.
Well, so that's also true.
You don't know what's going to happen.
That is also true.
But there's not. Yeah, I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, no, he's actually like beyond the skin color. He seems like he's got a very athletic build, and that's going to be kind of weird.
Say Snape in any way, shape, or form.
He does not say Snape. There are all kinds of memes too. So I'm going to talk real quick here before we get into the memes about it. And I'm going to come at this from a slightly different perspective, I think. So for those of you who aren't aware of His Dark Materials, if you've heard of the movie The Golden Compass, that was their first attempt to make it into a trilogy. It had Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman. And it was a big budget disaster. It didn't do very well at the box office. They changed a lot of things from the book.
They made a lot of changes also.
They did. And so I did read the books. Well, I listened to the audiobooks because I was very busy at the time, but I was actually when we were working on Disney stuff, I was actually drawing Disney comics and listening, but I'd listened through all 3 books and I loved them. I thought they were great. And some people are going to complain because Philip Pullman is an atheist and he does take quite a few shots at religion in the series, but it's fiction, right? I mean, it's a work of fiction, and that's it is what it is.
Well, it's no different than like Tolkien being religious, but he used it the opposite way,
right? And that's Narnia. Yeah, and that's kind of how I looked at it, right? But I did like the series. I thought was pretty good, and so then they announced an adaptation, which I was initially excited about because I'm like, well, yeah, there was so much they cut out of that first movie, and it was they committed to all 3 seasons, 3 books. Yeah, I think it was like 10, I want to say 10 or 12 episodes per season. And maybe it wasn't that many, but they basically did everything from the books. I mean, they did I'm sitting there scrambling, my memory is a little foggy, but I'm like, I don't recall them cutting any scenes out. Now, did they race swap characters? Yes, they did. There were several race swaps. Actually, one of the co-protagonists, which is Will, was played by a black kid, and they had one of the bad guys was a black guy, and
allowed to do that.
Yeah, you're allowed to do. Here's and the thing is, even with the white
ginger originally, sorry,
Will have brown hair, I think. I don't know. But speaking of hair color, okay, so they did have, it was Daphne Keane, who was X-23, Laura in X-Men, and what's her face that got killed in the Acolyte. She was very good. She was the main character. In the books, Lyra has platinum blonde hair, and so does her mother, Mrs. Coulter. But the actress they got to play Mrs. Coulter, holy God, she was good. It's worth watching the series just for that. And they gave them both black hair because, mother-daughter. Oh God, big spoiler. That doesn't come up till later. But anyway, they race swap characters. The kid who played Will at first, I was kind of like, they made Will black. Okay, whatever. God, he was good. He was really, really good. So this is where I'm really torn on it because in the series, race never comes up at all. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh yeah, this character that was probably white in the book is now, another race or whatever.
So if you didn't read the books, you wouldn't know. It's like it didn't matter. It was just whoever was best for the part.
Yeah, and do I think there was some DEI behind? I'm sure there probably was. Yeah, especially when it came out. But I can honestly say there wasn't a single bad actor in that show. I mean, there wasn't it was. I mean, James McAvoy was in it. He was Lyra's dad. He was playing the Daniel Craig part. He was good. Like everybody, like all the I can't think of a single bad actor in that series. And so that's why I'm kind of like sitting here like, what? In this particular case, I fully understand the apprehension that people have about them race swapping Snape.
Well, you also promised it was going to be like the book. Exactly.
Right.
And it's already not being like the book. Exactly. And by that, making that casting choice, they're going to have to change some things, or it's going to be like, someone's getting lynched type situation.
Yes. And that does. And actually there's a black guy on Twitter that brought that up. There's like, wow, that just adds a whole nother layer of like, not only was Harry's dad a complete douchebag, but he also was racist too.
Yeah. So, if you're going to race swap a character, that might not have been the best choice to do that with.
Right. Yeah. And it does. I mean, it's one of the first casting announcements, and, people already are kind of like, oh God, they're just, going to take this in a totally different direction, and it's not going to be accurate to the books. And, which I get, I completely 100%. And I think that is a very, very valid concern people have, because they're like, you're telling us you're going to be 1-to-1 with the books. We're finally going to get the full Harry Potter experience, and right out of the gate you're making major changes, and
that
Harry Potter
be problematic in the story,
right? And Harry Potter is infinitely bigger than his Dark Materials, right? Like, you can get away with it in his Dark Materials, you're not gonna be able to get away with it with freaking Harry Potter, which was right up there. Actually, it's probably bigger than Star Wars at this point. So that is gonna rub people the wrong way. But that being said, having seen his Dark Materials, I'm like, if it's as good as that was, and every actor was really damn good, I guess I'm kind of like, I'm gonna have to kind of wait and see. But if it's like, okay, well now McGonagall's going to be played by a man, and we're gonna get, what I'm saying? Like, it's just everything's no. Actually, I think they cast McGonagall already, and she's pretty
it was the one. She was. I forget her off the top of my head, but she's been somebody I've seen before. Now look, I guess my thing is, people are going around, of course, the easy, racism. It's all racism. It's not racism. It's just pointing out the elephant in the room, the obviousness. He does not look like Snape in any way, shape, or form. And even in the descriptions of him, he doesn't come across as that. You can give him long hair and, make him look more greasy, but that doesn't mean he's going to look like Snape.
Right.
And he doesn't. Like, I mean, he could have played another character, but I just don't think race swapping Snape was the smartest thing to do, because that's one that they very, very, very clearly gave descriptions of in the book.
Yeah, some of the other characters were sort of just kind of like, oh yeah, she's got brown hair, or this, but yeah, Snape, like, there were descriptions, there were illustrations. So that one's going to be tough. So, and again, it's just that thing of like, this is going to send a flare up to people that, obviously this is not going to be a 1-to-1 adaptation. If you're
they advertise it as a 1-to-1
after adaptation. They advertise, like, oh, the reason we're redoing Harry Potter, it wasn't to go back to the well and make more money. The reason we're redoing Harry Potter is because fans were robbed. They didn't get the full experience. The movies, cut a bunch of subplots out, and we're going to give you the whole shebang now. It's going to be a much better Harry Potter experience. And it's like, no, it's clearly just about the money. And now, and we'll have to wait and see, who they cast as the trio, and that's super important. And God help those children, because I think people are going to come after them because they hate Rowling. But it's going to be a really interesting situation to see if fans can get past that, right? If they can be like, okay, we already know you're going to make a bunch of changes. Are we still going to watch it? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it could be that the people behind it, they cast him for another reason. Maybe they thought he was the best person for the role.
Well, we
don't know until we see it. I just think it's a weird choice.
It's a weird choice, given that Snape was always described a certain way. But again, looking at his Dark Materials, the kid that played Will, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was so fucking good. He was really, really good. And after like the first episode or two with him in it, I'm like, I just completely forgot about skin color. And I was just like, yeah, this is Will.
Well, that's what it should be.
That's what it should be. But he was really good.
Case, I know, but in this case, it's not the same thing, because it's the character who is like Snow
was
White.
Explicitly described as, yes, I know.
Skin as white as snow. And Snape's kind of like the Harry Potter version of that. And it's just like, I mean, at least it's refreshing. It's not a ginger, but come on.
He's just like, yeah, I know. It's I was thinking about that the other day. They always joke about, gingers getting race swapped. I'm like, that has only worked in reverse, I think, literally one time. I keep thinking Baxter Stockman from Ninja Turtles. Mm-hmm. He he was a black dude in the comics, and then they did the cartoon. They made him a nerdy white guy with blonde or with ginger hair.
Yeah,
and then they turned him into a fly. It
never works in reverse. I mean, that's the only instance.
That was the only time I could think they actually worked in reverse. But and then they turned him into a fly.
You know what I've been thinking the entire time we're sitting here?
What have you been thinking?
Snape, Severus Snape. I'm sorry, that's what
we got Terry Crews is Harry Potter.
Okay, that's funny.
This person here says you might as well cast me as Lucius Malfoy while we're at. Oh my God. There would be so much.
The Malfoys are very light skinned too. Yeah.
Oh, the Malfoys are going to be Nazi stand-ins because they were basically white supremacist stand-ins, right?
Yeah. I mean, you had the pure blood. Yeah.
So, this is where it's going to get kind of weird, right? When you start getting into the whole pure blood thing, mud blood thing, I don't know. I'm just like, Voldemort absolutely is going to be a white dude because he's probably going to have Trump hair in this one.
Well, Voldemort should just take this show out, I think, while we're ahead. I'm sorry. You're a wizard. You're a motherfucking wizard, Harry.
I'm not gonna lie, I would watch it. I would watch it. I'd watch this. Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know if they can afford Adam Driver or Benedict Cumberbatch at this point, right? I think he'd be good, but I think he's too old.
I think he's too old too.
I don't know. Matthew McFadden. I don't know who this guy is. Matthew McFadden.
These guys are a lot older, and the thing is, like, you're right. In the book, he was younger. He was younger. A bit weird. They cast him as Snape to begin with, but
yeah.
Now they got the younger part down, but the rest of it isn't right. So
I don't know. Like it's a huge controversy. I think this every because of how big Harry Potter is, every casting choice is going to be scrutinized, turned upside down, whatever. And we've got multiple groups of people now that are against this for whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because we got the people that just hate J.K. Rowling and think she should be, scrubbed from the earth and all of her work should be scrubbed and she should be left penniless in a box. So that's, one level. And then we got people that don't want to reboot at all because they're like, why? We already did this. And then we got people that are like, well, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right, And so this is going to be really interesting, though, for progressives, isn't it? Because it's going to be like, well, I don't think they should be making Harry Potter at all because I hate J.K. Rowling, but it's also very progressive to cast a black man as Snape. It's like,
is that what they're trying to do? They know
which button you push here, dude?
Yeah, how far are they going to go? Hermione's now, like trans girl or something, because they're trying to win that audience back.
I am thinking that. And this is the thing too. People are going to look at this and be like, is this a diversity shield? Or are you casting a spell, Diversioso or something to,
Wingardium Diversioso.
Diversioso. Yeah. To try to deflect criticism at J.K. Rowling. Cause if it was all white, people would be like, Harry Potter's too white. I'm like, have you read the books? Like, do you know where Hogwarts is? Yeah, it's pretty white. It's so white that in fact they kind of call out the handful of students that are not white. It's like they all know them by name because there's like 5 of them, right? So I don't know. We'll see. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence about it. The only thing, like I said, the only thing that gives me any glimmer of hope about this, because I think them rebooting it's kind of dumb, but especially since it's so soon after the series, it's only been like 15 years since they ended it, something like that. Not even.
Gosh, I don't know. It's been a while.
But is the fact that I know his Dark Materials was really good. So, but this thing we're not going to see it for another like 2 years probably.
If it doesn't get canceled before then, yeah.
If it doesn't get, they're really like we're going to do 10 years of Harry Potter and we're going to cast John Lithgow at 79, and by the time he's done, he's gonna be like 92.
If he makes it that long.
If he makes it that long.
But then the original ones they cast, the original one died too. So in the film.
Yes, that seems to be a thing, right? one Dumbledore will die and he'll come back as being Asian or something.
See, they could have got Jude Law. I mean, he's old enough now. They could have put the beard on him.
That actually would have been kind of interesting, right? The cast.
Because of Fantastic Beasts movie.
Yeah. And he was good. He was good as Dumbledore.
You know, would have been at least, cohesive.
And it's like, chances are pretty good. Jude Law is in his 50s. Like, he'll probably make it. He'll probably make it to the end.
Right. And honestly, you could probably age him up with some makeup and the beard, and it would work.
Yeah. So there we go, guys. There's our take on the Black Snape controversy. You're not getting Adam Driver, but I didn't think he'd be good though. He'd be good.
He would be good.
He's got the voice and everything. So
and I think he could pull it off. But yeah.
Are we gonna wrap this up?
Yes.
This one went long. All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.